Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Stock Market Weekly Recap. You know what's up. We're talking about how things went this week in a week that I can only describe as bonkers. And you think about bonkers, we're talking about the classic game on the Sega Genesis, Bonkers. I mean, that's the kind of level bonkers we played right here. And I say that obviously because I just recently pulled up my Sega Genesis, because when you're in quarantine, you gotta find stuff to do, and the Sega Genesis still works, baby. Let's go. It was a crazy week, and I think you can see that by not only this chart, but we were up 12.84%. 12.84% this week. Are you kidding me? That's a slightly over a total annualized yearly gain that just happened there in a week. This market doesn't know what it wants to do with itself for sure. In this span from Tuesday through Thursday, we had the biggest 3-day increase both off percentage and off point gain in the history of the Dow Jones, the history of the market. Can you believe that? That is just what I would call crazy. But from a perspective of how the total market's actually doing, you see on a month out for the month, down 14.85, 3 months down 24.47, so year to date down 24, and 1 year out down 16.5. So all things considered, I gotta be frankly honest, this gain this week kind of has neutralized this significantly. I mean, half the losses we found, we've pretty well just recovered in a day of, in a span of how long? 3 days? And obviously we saw a decline Friday of about 4%. Right here, 4%, as you can see. So if we had another positive day, this thing would have been pretty well, halfway eliminated. That's just crazy to think about it. Look at the S&P 500 here. We'll see a similar chart going on with the S&P 500. Up 10.26. That's right, the Dow is outperforming the S&P 500. But the S&P 500 year to date is only down 21.34%. So you got that to look at. And from the NASDAQ perspective, that's right, the Dow outperformed the NASDAQ even. There's many reasons for this, but overall for the NASDAQ, you see year to date only down 16 at this point. From a year, they're almost flat now even. That just seems crazy, crazy, crazy. I mean, that's just hard to believe. You don't think about stuff like that. Obviously, during this week, we not only do we have the biggest 3-day span, you see here the third biggest day in terms of point change was on the 26th, which was Thursday, I believe. Yes, Thursday was the biggest day for point change we ever had. Third biggest day, I should say. First biggest, obviously, being, that's right, Tuesday. Are you kidding me? That's insane. So that's point changes. As far as percentage gains, we had the fourth biggest percentage gain, which was Tuesday there, 11.37% up. That is just, it's absurd if you think about these numbers. We had two of the biggest days in the market. Wow, in history. All in the same span of, that's what I call crazy. But you got some companies doing pretty well, such as Nike, posting good earnings, stock up well because of it. Very good earnings, not really impacted by what we have going on. And you have companies like Walmart who actually seem to be trading at an opposite perspective to what the market's actually doing. Walmart on the month is up 1%, right? Which the market's down how much? Yeah, that's right. Market's down over 15% for the month still. So, but before this, obviously through the 18th, it was up 13%. But this week, think about it. This week, you might be wondering, how in the world did Walmart go down 4% this week when the whole market went up massively, 12%? Well, there's a good reason for it. So Walmart's a very safe stock. It is a recession-proof stock. It is one that big investors flock to when they have big fear of recession. When investors find that fear to be going away, they're going to put more money in Walmart. When they think the economy is going to be fine, they're going to take money out of Walmart, and they're going to go ahead and put that money into other stocks. So Walmart's kind of their safe dump stock. They can put money here. They know they'll pay a dividend consistently. They know that the stock is going to do well. I mean, they'll do well in a recession regardless. So investors put their money in Walmart when they think a recession's coming. When they are confident, they take their money out of Walmart, and that's why you see this negative trading for the week. That's why you see investors kind of making Walmart trade opposite to the market. So it's really just investors pulling their money out elsewhere, because you see, as far as one of the biggest changes in sectors, obviously, is the real estate investment trust sector. Some of my positions went up over 100%. I doubled the positions this week, obviously after they'd gone down over 50%, so overall I'm still negative on some of them, but I picked up shares real cheap on a lot of them. So frankly, I was okay with some of the sales made. I was okay with some of those gains, but I wish I could have gotten more shares in. But regardless, you see just a crazy time going on. We've got jobless claims soaring to 3 million to 3.28 million, and this can only be the start of it if you think about it. This is just people that are actually claiming unemployment. They want unemployment, and I think there's a lot of reasons for it too. If you think about unemployment, think about the stimulus package for the that we're passing here. So this stimulus package not only is going to be giving people $1.2 thousand deposited within the next 3 weeks to their accounts. For those who make under $75,000, that should be. Not only are they doing that, but on top of that, they're beefing up what unemployment does. So unemployment's giving you an extra $600 a month, per week actually. Unemployment is paying out insane, and that's apart from what the states give. So states give a certain amount, then now the national government's giving out $600 extra per week, which is a lot of money added up. I mean, I hate to say it, but people on unemployment are making a little bit, just slightly below what I am making right now while I'm still working, but I am still getting that $1,200 check while I'm still working. What can I say? I'll take the money. Invested in some stocks, no doubt. If this market goes down again, you never know. But we're going to see an actual real number as far as unemployment rate, which is going to be scary stuff because people are only starting cutting jobs, all things considered, as they weigh out who they can keep on. One thing that the stimulus package is meant to do is keep people on payroll. So the unemployment number doesn't hit us all two at once. So companies are going to be incentivized to keep people on payroll and not let them go and not lay them off. So frankly, it's what they might do. It's not saying after we're done with this, they might not go ahead and let these people go. But for the time being, the goal is to keep unemployment at a somewhat manageable as it can be. It's just extremely hard to do. It's really extremely hard to do right now just because of this unprecedented nightmare we're facing. But still. In other news, obviously, we have consumer sentiment plunging to the lowest in 3 years. You hate to see that down a solid 6% from where it was last month. You hate seeing that. Obviously, it doesn't shock me at all. People don't want to buy stuff. They don't have a job, so of course consumer sentiment's low. People that got laid off, nothing too scary. That number's not awful, though, for the time being. We've got the UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson testing positive for this, experiencing mild symptoms. So he's self-isolating right now. And we also have Trump, Mr. Donald's saying, "Today I signed a presidential memorandum directing the HHS secretary to use any and all other authority available under the Defense Production Act to require General Motors to accept, perform, and prioritize federal contracts for ventilators." That was the worst one I've ever done. So their negotiations with GM regarding its ability to supply ventilators have been productive, but our fight against the virus is too urgent to allow give and take. So they are forcing them. GM was wasting time, they said. And frankly, it's something that GM does quite a bit. We talk about GM and their labor union. Talk about wasting time, leaving people out of work for several months. What can I say? Now we're going to leave people out of work even more. This gives people work to do if we're forcing people to make ventilators. Not forcing. We shouldn't be forcing. A company that knows what they're doing in this, why are they not helping in this? This is a threat against humanity that we need every hand on deck on. Every hand on deck needs to be here. So this shouldn't be a give and take fair Donald on that. This should not be a fight. And I think this is a fair very, very fair signed order here to try to make GM to force these ventilators to be made. We don't want to get to a point where we have death rates that were that of Italy, and it's tragic that that happened. But the reason for it being they ran out of ventilators. They ran out of being able to care for these people. As our numbers continue to spike in America, we want to be able to provide these ventilators. We want stuff that will actually be able to take care of these people. That's why Ford's pitching in to help out, making masks and attempting to make ventilators as well. We're working on splitting ventilators to where we can get 2 people per ventilator. Everyone needs to be all hands on deck. We have Apple pitching in, trying to make applications in conjunction with the White House for this. Everyone needs to pitch in on this, and that's just frankly how we're going to win this. But hopefully we see a decent stock market next week. I don't know what it's going to look like. No one knows what it's going to look like. It's just one of the craziest markets I think we've ever had, and I think that shows in the data for sure. So wish you all well.